What's happening? It's Erik J. Olson, and I am doing another live recording for our podcast, Journey to $100 Million. Now, this is a daily podcast that's on all the podcasting platforms and even Amazon, where we talk about how we're trying to build our digital marketing agency up to $100 million in revenue per year. We're pretty far away from that, but that's our goal. We have a plan, and we are learning a tremendous amount in our journey to $100 million. Part of that journey is to not do this in isolation, but to talk to other business owners and other entrepreneurs and get ideas from them about how they're building their companies and see if we can pull some of those ideas into our agency to help us accelerate our growth. Now, today I am joined by Chris from Fuel and Spark. What is happening, Chris?
Not much. How's it going? Great to be here.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. So, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Chris Botvidson. I'm president, CEO of Fuel and Spark Media. We help e-commerce brands scale by feeding effective and strategic video content into paid social media ad campaigns. So primarily Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And yeah, that's our business, and that's what we do, and we're having fun doing it.
Very cool. Looks like you're on set right now. Is that one of many sets, or?
We're here at our studio space in Fort Worth, Texas. So our offices are located in Backlot Studios at Fort Worth, Texas. And so we're here hanging out in the studio for a minute.
Right on. Very cool. So how much of the, I got a lot of questions for you, honestly. But how much of the shooting that you do is there in the studio versus like in a client's facility or even out and about somewhere?
Yeah, so we do a lot of location shoots. Right now, it's probably about 70% on location and about 30% in the studio. We especially use the studio for product-specific shots. So when we're setting up and staging product shots, we use the studio because we can control the lighting a lot better. But when we're shooting, just kind of your marketing content, things like that, a lot of times we're on location.
Gotcha. Hey, we already have the first comment, which is from Shannon J. Haircut looks good, Chris.
Oh, so, yeah, I gotta give props to Puga on that. She's my haircut girl. She's awesome.
I will say, yeah, she did a great job. Your hair looks awesome. I'm a little offended that Shannon didn't comment on my haircut.
I think that's a nice close shave you got there. I'm impressed.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. All right, cool. Hey, when did you start your company? How long you been doing this? Like, have you pivoted along the way?
That's an awesome question. So we did a major pivot in the beginning of 2020. So kind of rewinding a little bit. For the past 10 years or so, before 2020, we were running a full service agency. We were doing branding, website design and development. We were doing email marketing. We were doing paid social advertising. We were doing printing. We were doing a little bit of everything. And toward the end of 2019, we decided that, being a super full service agency was just becoming a little bit, it was just becoming a lot to handle and a lot to manage. And we made the decision to niche down our services. And so we were doing some video production for some of our clients. And we were also doing some paid social, so Facebook, Instagram, YouTube advertising. We love doing the video production. It's fun. Our clients love it. We love it. We enjoy that part of it. And then we just started seeing that we were getting strong results on the social ad spends, and getting a very good ROI. So we made the decision to niche down and kind of go an inch wide and a mile deep on producing video content specifically for social media campaigns. And so that's what we're doing. During the pivot, I found myself saying, okay, we need to do email marketing automations and drip campaigns and all of these different things. And then I started seeing myself getting into that full service agency again. And so I just kind of had to crack the whip. I talked to some mentors and coaches, and we decided we're going to focus right here and be really, really good at this thing that we're doing here.
And what has the impact been because of that pivot?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, from a business development standpoint, it's been so much easier to have a conversation with people and explain what it is that we actually do. When you tell somebody I'm a marketing agency or an ad agency or a branding firm, all of those things are so broad. They're like, oh, so what kind of work do you do? Or what kind of clients do you do work for? And you just find yourself in, well, we do a little bit of this, we do a little bit of that, we do a little bit of this. And for me, the message is a lot more succinct. It's a lot easier to talk about. It's a lot easier for us to build our team and staff because we're not spreading everyone out so thin. We're stacking talent. And so it's been great. I mean, I've loved it. And I think after 10 or 11 years, we changed the name and everything. And for me, as an entrepreneur and as a person, having a fresh start was just really, it's just really nice.
We did the same thing. It seems to be like, before we went live, you and I were chit-chatting a little bit about how the story of the entrepreneurial story is different for each of us, but there's so many similarities. And it seems like a lot of certainly agency owners just kind of make the same mistakes along the way. And we did. And I recognize it, like billing by the hour, right? Like it's easy to do, freelancing, billing by the hour, billing by the project. And you eventually try to get to like recurring revenue. Also, like you never want to say no to anybody, and so like you do all these things, you shoot video, you run ad campaigns, you do newsletters, billboards, whatever, right? And I think it comes from this position in the very beginning where you'll do anything for money in the beginning, and it kind of just gets ingrained into your culture is what it feels like, and it's scary, right? It's hard and it's scary to break from that. Is that kind of how you felt?
That's a lot how I felt. We started out mostly as a branding and graphic design agency. We really quickly got into web design in 2008, 2010. But what happens whenever the website is launched? Well, and the brand is in place, you got to market it. And so then we started building on services. And we got to a point to where we were just offering so many services, bringing in people that are to project manage and learn all these different processes became kind of a beating. And then, website design started becoming pretty commoditized. So we were, building custom websites, and then you have platforms like Squarespace, all of these WordPress, like theme builders and all of these things where, other smaller agencies can produce really nice looking sites for a lot less money than what we could do for a small business. And then, for our enterprise level stuff that we were building, just the management, change orders, scope creep, all of those things were just starting to become a huge burden on top of everything else that we were doing. And, I think after 10 years of building, developing, working with, copywriters, designers, developers, dealing with code and different browsers and different devices and making sure that everything works on everything. I personally just became, burned out on dealing with the management of those types of projects.
Yeah. There's someone I know. He runs a mastermind, Jason Swank.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Jason Swank.
Yeah, we're actually in his mastermind. You may want to check it out. I can connect you with him afterwards. But he has a saying about a Me Too agency. So, in the early days when you did all those things and prospects like, or you're talking to another agency owner and you're like, oh yeah, me too. We do that. Yeah. Right. And it's always, yeah, we also do that. For us, we are a digital marketing agency. We do a lot of the things you talked about, actually. Websites, SEO, online advertising. Those are our four. But when I talk to business owners, a lot of times they're like, oh, you're spread too thin. I think if I were to do this all over again, I wouldn't grasp all four of those. And, I'd probably pick maybe two of them, something like that. Right. And focus in on the discipline and focus in on the industry, the types of people that we want to talk to much earlier. But it's a hard lesson. Well, it's one of those things you see coming a long time before you actually take action. And a lot of people, I think, never take action.
Yeah. For us, we were definitely in that Me Too conversation. Now we actually work with other agencies, and that's been really cool. To all of the agency relationships that we've built over the years, having new and different conversations with them on, hey, how can we team up? How can we collaborate? How can we work with each other? That's also been very refreshing, going from thinking you're competing against everyone to essentially being able to work with everyone. That's been majorly refreshing for me.
That's cool. Yeah. That is very, very cool. But you know what else is cool? Shannon has come to her senses. P.S. Erik, your cut looks fresh with $ and shiny.
There you go.
Actually, it's not that shiny right now.
Well, you could put a little makeup on there to keep the shine down.
That would be like a serious production to do that, man. Yeah. Let's see here. Actually, Shannon has a serious question. What are some tips you have for social media video past just putting captions on them? Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Yeah. So I would say you want to be strategic about any kind of video production that you are making for social. So what we do is we organize our content into different layers based on your sales funnel. So what you create to get brand awareness is going to be different than the type of video that you create to get somebody to actually purchase your product. So what we do is we focus on kind of 4 different levels of the funnel. We create brand awareness at the top, and that's generally your fun, like attention grabbing video content, the things that you put out there that you're hoping that will catch attention, maybe go viral, people will like, share it, laugh at it, more entertainment value. Then we have what's called the action step. So driving people to engage with your brand, whether it's watch a podcast or consume another piece of content, or maybe download, a free download or a white paper or some sort of value. You want to offer some sort of value in that action, but you want people to take action, hopefully, subscribe to your channel or, sign up for a newsletter or give them your email address or contact information to get them in your CRM, get them in the funnel. And then conversion, you want to provide an offer. So that's where you might say, hey, we're offering, 15% off for the month of March. Maybe that's your offer. Sign up now. That's your strong call to action. You're actually asking people to buy from you. And then the last part of the funnel is that retention piece. So consistently, like what you're doing right now, kind of like providing valuable content so that the people that already are your customers keep checking back, and you're constantly giving them new things to engage with. Maybe it's a new product offering. Maybe you're offering them, exclusivity on, hey, you're going to be you're going to have the first opportunity to try out this brand new thing that we're offering. So I would say be strategic about the types of content that you're shooting, and try to make sure that it fits into one of those buckets and have a purpose. I mean, I guess that would be the gist of this whole thing is whatever you shoot, it needs to have some sort of a purpose.
Yeah, love it, man. That's great advice. So I've got here if there's 4 levels, level 1, not step 1, level 1, brand awareness, right? So generate brand awareness. Level 2 is something that requires action. It's a value add. And is this always gated content, if you will? Like it's something where you have to provide something? Like
It doesn't have to be, it could be as simple as getting people to subscribe to your YouTube channel or follow you on Instagram. You just want them to take some sort of action to engage with your brand in some way. It could be gated. It could be getting them into your funnel and getting that email address and going ahead and getting them into your CRM. It doesn't have to be,
so some sort of exchange of value, right? They give you something, they get something more valuable in return.
Right.
Cool. That's awesome. And then conversion, with an offer. And that's the 3rd level. And then the 4th level towards the bottom of this funnel is retention. That's retention of your existing clients.
Yes. Yeah.
Or previous clients.
Yeah. Previous or existing.
Interesting.
And, if you're a service-based company and their existing clients, maybe you're rolling out a new service or a new offering, or if you're an e-commerce business, maybe you're launching a new product or a new package, so to speak. And then, a big part of the value add could be just like what you're doing, inviting your customers to join you on a podcast, share their story, give back a little bit, because they've been gracious enough to buy your product or your service. And so you can reciprocate that by, sharing their story and getting their message out even more.
That's a really good idea. I think I suspect that most marketers just kind of ignore everything past conversion, right? The goal is to get clients, and then some other process takes over, like customer support.
Yeah, and hopefully you have a good customer service model built into your operations of your business. But yeah, I mean, I think always focusing on who you have is a great idea. Even if maybe you only sell one product and your clients have already bought that one product that you sell, that doesn't mean they can't be advocates. That doesn't mean you have incentives to refer other people to your store or to your agency. So, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to leverage people, especially if you've done a good job or they love your product. I mean, that's hugely valuable to continue reaching out to them.
That's excellent. Good point. Wow, we are getting peppered with comments and questions. Let's see. Zach Miller, the author of Anomaly. This is someone that I know. At the end of the day, a strategy is meaningless if the media being produced is garbage. It can't suck. Good point, Zach. People, businesses, brands would be better off not creating their own media and instead straight up steal someone else's thunder in the comments. Did I just get set up? I feel like he's setting me up. He stole my thunder, man. How to respond to that? I don't know.
So
that's interesting.
It can't suck. That's true.
Yeah, it can't suck. I was down with that. It can't suck. Yeah, be better off not creating their own media. Well, I'm down with that. I thought where he was going with that is he needs to hire a pro like you, Chris. But instead, straight up steal someone else's thunder. And he spelled comments wrong. What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that was his way of stealing the thunder.
Maybe. Wow.
Putting a weird comment at the end there. But
yeah, I'm gonna remove that thunder right now.
Hey, he does have a point though. I mean, quality matters, intent matters, purpose matters. You can't just, if you're just shooting content for the sake of shooting content, you're probably not going to get the most bang for your buck out of what you're producing.
Gotcha. Yeah. At what point did you kind of focus in on, it sounded like you focused in on video kind of early in your decision making on niching, but video for advertising for e-commerce. So,
Yeah.
so you have a lot of different layers of niching going on there, right?
Yeah, we do. The thing with us about working with e-commerce brands is by the way that you can set up conversion tracking and pixels and linking straight to their e-commerce store, you can then monitor and track how effective your campaigns are by looking at actual dollars in revenue that they're creating. So when you're marketing a service like an agency or a law firm or a CPA firm or anything, plumbers, you're generally looking at getting them leads, right? And qualified leads are your goal there. And what happens with those leads is they get popped into a CRM, they get distributed to a sales team, they get followed up with, and then it becomes dependent upon, the client's salespeople to close those deals. And so for us, by focusing on e-commerce brands, we can actually just about in real time, I mean, within 24 to 48 hours, we can see how much revenue our campaigns are actually producing because people are clicking, they're going to the website, they're adding to cart. We can see when people abandon cart. We can do all of these different things and really start to hone in on the things that are effective and the most effective, so we can continue doing those. We moved into that because we were doing this for an e-commerce client, and we were seeing, strong returns on the Facebook advertising, Facebook and Instagram specifically. And then we started running YouTube ads, and it's just, I think there's a scalability in the product side of things that sometimes there is not in the service side of things. Sometimes, it might be a small law firm. You do a great job marketing, and then all of a sudden their capacity, and they're like, push pause, timeout, like, we're overloaded. We got more billable hours. We're going to have to hire people, or, we've run into that with service-based clients. I'm guessing you probably have too.
Absolutely.
Same with brick and mortar, stock type restaurants, and there's only certain amount of seats and capacity, and so and there's some trends happening in the world even pre-COVID. I mean, e-commerce was starting to ramp up a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of fulfilled by Amazon companies, but Shopify is one of the fastest growing platforms out there, and people are selling direct to consumer using Shopify, also selling on Amazon, but they also have a direct to consumer component. And we just started seeing that trend rising and rising and rising, along with the trend that video content gets better results and more eyeballs. It just gets more engagement and better results. But it's also becoming a necessary part of marketing, and the best way for a brand to tell their story and get people to see like what's behind the brand and what goes into the products, and besides just simply outlining the features and benefits, so to speak. So we were pretty calculated in trying to identify different trends that were happening in the world around us as we were making the decision on the direction to go.
Yeah, very smart. I think video is huge. I think video is very versatile. Just as an example, what we're doing right now is a live. So we get the live benefit. Then that video is going to live on in YouTube. So that's kind of a second home for this video in a long format. Then we're going to take this video. We're going to, I have 2 episodes already identified for our podcast, Journey to $100 million. So we'll take the audio, turn that into 2 podcast episodes in the audio version. Also the video version of the podcast. So there's, well, I had 2 before, 2 for the audio, 2 for the video. Now we're up to how many fingers I'm holding up? 6. And then we're going to also take this video and chop it up into micro content. So we'll take like 15 to 30-second clips and turn those into images, turn them into individual videos for like stories. So that's, probably like another 20 pieces. I mean, so in the time span of what are we actually, we're at 25 minutes now. I mean, we'll probably generate at least 20 pieces of content from this. Right. And it's just having a conversation. It's great. I love video.
Yeah, it's great. And, you can build a bank of content in a half-day shoot. If you're smart about it, if you plan it right, you can get your product shots involved. You can get a little bit of storytelling, branded, awareness type content, and you can build a nice solid bank of content if you're really planned out and strategic about it in, a half-day shoot. And then you're right. I mean, you can also transcribe this and put it as a blog post, put it on your Google My Business page. You said, put it in Instagram stories. LinkedIn has stories now. You can put it in, YouTube has now their short-term format, which is gaining a lot of organic traffic also. So yeah, I mean, video, if you're going to invest in content, in my mind, video is the best way to go because you can repurpose it for audio, for written, for everything.
Yeah, I agree. And frankly, at least for stuff like this, video like this, low production value, it's easy. It's just easy, I think what you do is probably much higher production quality than what I'm doing here. You got the studio and all that stuff. But you can crank out some quality, low production video pretty quickly and cheap,
Yeah. And, things like this, I mean, this kind of content's great. And so I think there's a place for all different kinds of content. Everything that you put out doesn't have to have a super high production value. You don't have to be shooting with $15,000 cameras and all the gear and equipment that you see back here in the studio. However, there is definitely a time and a place for that kind of content too. Telling the story of your brand, showcasing your products in a meaningful way, and quality video amps up the perception of quality for your product. So you've got a high quality, high end product, and you do nothing but put out, low quality video. Like, what does that say, about the brand itself?
Yeah.
I think most e-commerce companies for sure have learned that, your product photography that's on your shop store is hugely important for the conversions and sales when people actually land on your site. And so, I think there's a time and place for all kinds of different types of video content.
Very cool. Well, Chris, hey man, I really appreciate your time. If someone wants to get in touch with you, either to hire you for video ads or just to pick your brain, what's a good way to get in touch with you?
So you can visit our website. It's easy. It's fuelandspark.com. You can follow us on Instagram and all our social media channels at Fuel and Spark. And Erik, thanks a lot for having me on. This has been great. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. So thank you for inviting me on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for your time. And before we actually say bye, I do want to share your website. So I'm doing this because I think it's cool. I think you've done a really good job. A lot of times they'll put a big picture and just a title, but I think this is a pretty effective technique as well on the top to really just lay out what you do. But I just think it's a neat looking website. There's a lot of nice features to it. And it got my attention right away. There's some animations throughout here. And look at that. We got video. So
Yeah. Well,
portfolio
thanks so
page.
much. I appreciate it. We worked really hard on, building our brand for our agency. So that means a lot. I really appreciate that.
Well, cool. All right, Chris. Hey, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep. Okay. Bye.